Hi everybody, my name is Lou and I am very excited today to bring you a presentation on data quality and how it is the key to successful competition in a world after open banking. First, some quick introductions. I've spent my entire career in data management, analytics, and data science. I've had the good fortune of running my own company since 2015, helping companies create new value from their data. Through my work, I've been able to participate in many acquisitions and digital transformations as either interim chief data officers, interim directors, and I've seen companies go through the type of change that's necessary to meet external, such as regulatory requirements, and internal, such as business objectives. So I've really seen it all. And the content that I'm bringing you today comes both from my experience in the professional world, as well as my experience from other industries that are also highly data-driven, specifically digital marketing and healthcare, where data is transforming how these companies do work. But we're here to talk about financial industry today, specifically fintech. So let's step back and think about what is the fintech entrepreneur's dream. For fintech entrepreneurs, you put in a lot of effort, a lot of your personal resources to do the following. You identify a growing market and you find a service that can be digitized. You raise some money so that you can create a mobile app that delivers that service better than the non-digital version, right? Banking on your phone is a lot more convenient than having to go to a bank during work hours. And in doing so, you create proprietary technology to process proprietary data for automation, for service delivery. And because your service is so nice, because it's digitized, you're able to acquire a huge happy customer base. And that is how you fuel your success and get acquired. But open banking is going to change all of that. Think about what open banking does. It standardizes the data and the technology that all fintechs who participate use. This means people will have very similar digital customer experience. Furthermore, the customer can move freely between these digital platforms. Before, this can definitely outcompete the physical bank. But what happens when there are hundreds of these fintechs all offering the access to the same platform? There will no longer be a winner-take-all dynamic. If you have 80% of the customer base total in the country today, tomorrow somebody else can come and take that all away. So having customers is no longer the winning strategy. Okay? Customer acquisition through simple digitization of a service, that strategy is dead. So in the new world, how do fintechs compete? The new strategy is a classic with a twist. You have to deliver the right product. What does this mean? It means it's customizable. Customized how? It includes the best terms that you as the company can reliably and responsibly offer to this customer, this specific customer. And you have to be able to make this term, risk, credit, whatever, decision nearly instantaneously, because the right time matters. You have to be able to come up with the best terms for the right product nearly instantaneously to outcompete. So let's review the new fintech entrepreneur's dream. The new fintech entrepreneur needs to develop a portfolio of customizable products that a customer could want. Then they have to be able to look at each customer and pick the terms that are responsible and attractive. And they have to be able to do this quickly in near real time. You need high quality data to do this. So in the new world, the new fintech entrepreneur's dream should be a fin data tech dream, because that is how you're going to deliver value. I've talked a lot about high quality data. I think this is a good time to define what I mean. When I say high quality data, I mean two important requirements. One, high quality data is complete, meaning everything you know about a customer can be looked up in one place. You don't have to go to 5 different departments asking for email, asking for phone number, asking for transaction history. Nope. High quality data means you have a complete customer-centric record. Requirement 2, that record is ready to be used. Customer data that needs to be used for automation, for analysis, is accessible, is standardized, is available. There's no need to cleanse it. There's no need to pre-process it. It's ready to go. That's high quality data. On the flip side, what does low quality data look like? You have to look in multiple places to look up customer information. Somebody's job is to copy data from multiple places into Excel for somebody else. Somebody's job is to correct data in multiple places that it's being stored, because we have data collection, data quality issues at the source. Somebody's job is to sit there and answer questions about what the data means, because it's not obvious. Now, this is nothing to be ashamed of. The technology to make data quality and data storage and data production easy, standardized, and high quality, these technologies used to be very expensive. 20 years ago, most companies could not afford a database, and they couldn't afford a database engineer. Only the biggest companies could afford Oracle and SAP to automate some of their processes, and man, it made them stand out. But these days, everything is moving to the cloud. Everything is a relational database. We have to begin doing this work now. Okay? Why? There's a lot at stake. High quality data allows you to deliver high value solutions and to stay competitive. So if the technology is cheap, if we all know why we have to do it, why is data quality still bad? It's because a lot of data, even if it's stored in the cloud, even if it's produced by the company, they don't think about record completeness or usability. Specifically, in these 3 ways. You cannot have record completeness if you don't know all the data that you have. Companies keep inventory of how many desks, how many office chairs they've bought for their employees. But many companies do not keep an inventory of how many databases they have or how many departments run data production activities. If you don't know what data you have, you cannot possibly have a complete customer record. Another thing that is frequently missing is lineage. Let's say you do have a good inventory, but you're looking at your inventory and you say, hey, this email is different from this other email. Where did both of these emails come from? Who made this? Did we buy this email? Or did support collect it during a troubleshooting call? Right? If you don't know the origins or the processing upon your data, it's really hard to trust your data. So it's not easy to use data when you don't know the lineage. Lastly, sometimes the data is just incomprehensible. It's stored in a funny way, it's not documented in a useful way, and you see it in front of you and you have no idea how to use it because you don't know what the data means. These problems are nothing new, and there are some common old school solutions that people use to address this. If you don't know your inventory, why don't we make a dictionary of all the data that we have? We'll just start from the first database and catalog all the columns until we reach the last database. We'll create a dictionary. Okay, that kind of works 20 years ago when a company had one database, but these days we create a new database database every single time we purchase a SaaS product, every single time we automate a process, every single time we make a report. We're consistently adding to our inventory of data. So it's hard for a dictionary to keep up. We could document all of our data processing activities. Sure, you'll be writing a lot of documentation. Sometimes it's necessary, but what are you documenting? Are most of your data processing activities necessary? Lastly, if your data is incomprehensible, you could just add more information to the dictionary. Here's the thing. I called all of these bad solutions. Here's why. They're all reactive. They're dealing with the data, the low quality data that already exists. Second, they're done by human operators. It takes many people's job to do this. And if we're constantly creating new automation, constantly creating new product features, you might as well stop development just to document your data. All of this is because these solutions don't actually change data collection and data production practices. They're all coping mechanisms. They don't fix quality issues upstream. To drive this point home, let me show you a very simple data dictionary. Here, I've described some of the contents of some tables in a data center. This looks pretty straightforward. If I want to look up contract code, I have contract code here. It's in the contracts table. It's a character varying type. I think the obvious meaning of contract code is good enough. But here's the thing. Dictionaries are used to look up more information about an item. If I want to look up more information about dashboard agent, I can see that it's in the admin adjustments table in the third position and that it's text. But that's not usually what people care about when they work with data. By the time they find the dashboard agent field, the name tells you what it means. The most common way people struggle with data is they don't know where to find the data they're looking for. Where can I find the customer's email? Where can I find the customer's phone number? Because I'm trying to reach out to them because they have a problem with their account. If you're using a dictionary to find something specific, you're going to have to scan the whole dictionary. Let's look for email. Thankfully, email is in this page of the dictionary. But what if it wasn't? I'd have to read the whole dictionary to find this. Right? Furthermore, email here seems to start with the letter C. So if I had turned to the letter E in the dictionary, I would not have found this. Same thing if I was looking for a transaction ID. I go to the section for T. Well, you're out of luck because at this company, transaction ID starts with the letter B. Okay. This is why a dictionary is not a good way to facilitate most people's usage of data. Because most of the time, people don't use data like this. I found the column name and I need to look up what it means. No, most of the time people say, I don't know where the column I'm looking for exists. I need a way to search all of the databases. If you do it with a dictionary, you have to read the whole dictionary. So this is a poor solution. Let's look at a better solution to facilitate search. I present a hierarchical index or a tree. Here, this tree is built such a way where customer information is in green, contract information is in black, transaction information in blue, account information in red. If I was looking for customer email, which class of objects would I look in? The green class, because it's customer data. Would it be in the customer's type table, the customer's table, or the customer's purchase table? It's customer email. I expect it in customers. Then, and only then, only at this point, do we actually look at the contents of the customer table. Only now do we read all the details. And look, it's right there, as expected. If I was looking for transaction ID, which object would I look in? Probably the blue objects, the transactions table. And sure enough, the transactions ID is there. So let's think about the experience of searching with an index. You have to ask yourself, the data that I'm looking for, what group of objects does it belong to? Customers, transactions, accounts? And then, only then, do you read details. Okay, this is a two-step search. You ask yourself the object, and then you read very short description of columns related to that object. There are 54 entries of data in this index. To find what we're looking for each time, we only had to look at 2 of them. Let's see how we would represent this amount of information in a dictionary. The dictionary does not fit on this slide. I could only squeeze 50 rows of data here. But the point is, when you're finding something that has human sense in it, you don't read the dictionary. You search by hierarchy. So, old solution, when you only have one database in your company. New solution, when you have multiple databases with multiple objects. So, my little story there is just one of the many tactics that data-driven companies, data-savvy companies already realize. And these companies, here's their best kept secret. They invest in the activities to maintain the completeness and usability of their data. How do they do this? They invest in data management and analytics. In the past, these companies that are data-driven may not attract a lot of media attention because they're not the people trying to acquire a ton of customers and get sold. They're trying to make money by offering customizable services with profitable terms at exactly the right time. It's kind of boring. But when open banking comes and banking becomes a commodity, the data-driven companies will be rewarded. So, what can you do right away to improve your data quality and move closer to becoming one of these data-driven companies? Step 1, immediately index your data in a hierarchy. The highest level of hierarchy is not tables in a database. For a company, it's usually the company structure. What are the departments you have? What are the activities that you have in that department? Those activities are the source of data production, right? Because if you're a fintech, when you operate your service, you have customer registration, you have transaction processing, and you have ledger maintenance. Guess what? The departments that do this have the databases that contain this relevant customer, transaction, and ledger information. So my recommendation is that you create the hierarchy of your company and identify the key data processing and data production activities in each and see how they are related to each other. Okay. Most companies, ledger data will be used for reconciliation and audits. Customer registration information will be used to communicate with customers. And transaction processing, internal activities that give out rewards or incentives, will go into transaction processing. Use your human intelligence to describe what a computer cannot. A computer can make this picture, okay? It really can. Modern databases will export this view for you. But if you're going to use your human intelligence for anything, use it for this. Describe what is unique to your company, its architecture, its departments, and its department's activities. Okay. Then you will be one step closer to knowing where to find data to create a complete customer record. And that's the next step. Set up a modern data warehouse. You know all the important sources of data now. You need to get it in one place. So here's what a warehouse does. A warehouse takes the key strategically important data production activities and brings them into one place. That's the first half of setting up a warehouse. The second half, give your departments, your creative human beings, access to the warehouse and watch them solve problems. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of the problems that we're facing today need more than data from one source. Imagine a situation where your platform has a bug and a certain set of customers who were affected contacted support. You fixed the bug, and it was a pretty serious bug, and you want to reach out to the affected customers to offer them an incentive so that they stay, or you want to follow up to make sure that their problems were resolved. You want to do some of this automatically. You're going to need data from two different departments. One, customer support to see who complained, and two, customer registration activities to find their contact information. If you do not have a warehouse, you actually can't automate this. You cannot do this easily. Some poor analyst or operator is going to have to use Excel and download data from two different departments and do the join. And at that point, probably no one's going to put in the effort. But when you set up a warehouse, this becomes trivially simple. When you set up a warehouse, you will never want to go back. Watch your people go to work and solve problems much faster than they've ever solved them before, and at a much higher volume. The third thing you can do to have higher quality data immediately is, after you set up the warehouse, take a look at what data is being used over and over again. I'm going to give you a hint. It's customer contact information and their transaction log. For the popular data, set up controls, specifically formatting controls, right? Lowercase all the emails, standardize all the phone numbers, standardize the transaction logs. This is the very foundational start. And then watch as more people use the data. As they find new creative ways to use the data, they're going to have new requirements. Actually, the transaction logs, can we standardize the product name like this? I'm creating some automation here that's trying to, do some analytics on which sequence of products they use. I need a consistent naming. As more consumers of data come online, solicit and invite their requirements of data. And then, here's the trick, push them up to the producers of data. These 3 steps that you can take immediately is to ultimately come up with a list of requirements that you can hand to the data producer that's sensitive to how data is being used to bring value to the company. This cycle is how you fix data production at the source and continually improve and maintain its quality. This is how it's done. So, we've talked about the things you can do immediately to improve your data quality. Let's talk about what you can do to improve the value of your enterprise data, all the data that you have at your disposal, to make it better and better. For companies that want to go this direction and basically change their future, my number 1 advice is invest in data management. A lot of companies do not have a chief data officer. They do not have a data management practice. But data is an asset. Data is produced by the company and used in automation, used in fraud prevention, used in delivering the product to the customer. Why do we not hire management? Imagine if there was some other asset in the company where there was no management. Imagine if HR did not inventory their staff. They don't know who works for the company. Imagine if the CFO cannot track the lineage of money coming into and leaving the company. We would not tolerate that. We would not tolerate it in a heartbeat. Then why do we tolerate the lack of data management? Invest in data management. Because if you do, a good data management team will do these 2 things for you immediately. They will take a look at your enterprise architecture and help you make sure that it supports the current product and future innovation. And they will also set up an analytics practice for you. Let's talk about both of these. If you are a fintech or a fin data tech, your product development is fundamentally a data service because you need to customize your product for each user. To do that, your data architecture needs to provide two foundational areas for your product development. One of them is the quality foundation. That user record needs to be clean, standardized, simple and fast to access and use. The other side of the product development foundation, remember, you have to develop a portfolio of products that a customer may want. The data architecture needs to support your innovation. You may not have good credit models today in-house, you might be outsourcing that. But one day when you collect enough customer behavior, you're going to want to augment the models in-house. You're going to change the dynamic. To do that, where are you going to deploy a model if your data architecture does not support continuous innovation? The purpose of investing in architecture is to enable quality of the service that exists and innovation to improve and expand the service that exists. You will need this to become an excellent product company. And when you're in fintech, you are a product company. The second area the data management department will set up for you is data analytics. Now, I say data analytics for a special reason. Data analytics is not business reporting. It's not business intelligence. It's not monitoring to see if your service is up or down. Data analytics is the analysis of the data that the company has. A strong data analysis team will help you identify what data is available for automation, dramatically reducing in-house operational costs. They will help you analyze and improve internal processes and help you refine the product. Which features should be used, which features should be deprecated. And lastly, a strong data analytics team will help you achieve profitability and new features faster because they will be analyzing the enterprise resources available for modeling, for data science, for machine learning. All data science, all good data science emerges from a thriving analytics foundation. And all strong analytics team are made up with people with the trifecta of these skills: business analysis, database programming, and scripting. For those of you who work in data science, hopefully it's clear to see how data science will emerge from this foundation. So, if you want the value of data at your company to grow, which will cause your company valuation to grow, invest in these things: the foundation of your product development, the quality and innovation layers, analytics to find the data that is useful for the business's next step. With these two, you'll have a very smart product with a lot of automation, a lot of customization. Okay. We're reaching the end of our time, so I have to close out with some final thoughts. First, open banking requirements are data requirements. And how good your company's data quality is going to decide whether meeting these requirements will be easy or hard. Here's the thing. For most companies, it's going to be hard. So don't procrastinate. You can do it. The techniques are out there. You just have to start. It's not about buying software. It's not buying another tool. You cannot buy your way to the solution here. It's changing how you use your time internally and focusing on the right things to improve the clarity and completeness of your data. This is much more a human-driven activity than a technology-driven activity. The technology is all there. You all have it already. but you need the insight to use it correctly, right? The technology to make a data dictionary is pretty much the same technology to make a hierarchical index. You execute a query on a database and you get the information you need. But you need the wisdom to know what information to prepare. Companies that invest in their data will win in the new world. Fintechs will all be FinData techs one day. Mastering your data management will allow you to tap into all the information in the world that's there to support so many critical business operations, all with financial impact. And lastly, investing in data quality and supporting initiatives like open banking is really a broader trend in the human race to give power, ownership, and freedom back to people. Open banking is about giving people, regular people, control over their finances, over their information, and their future. Because when you give people ownership, they feel responsible. When people feel responsible, they make better choices. When they make better choices, you have a higher quality of life. Open banking is about customer data, but open banking is also about companies. Every single dollar your company controls, every single piece of data that your company processes is your responsibility. You have a choice in how you do things. You have a choice in whether you outsource, you have a choice in who you partner with, you have a choice in what processes you invest in. If you remind yourself that these are our responsibilities, that is the mental shift to having higher quality data. Data is unique. There are many resources where using it makes it disappear. Money is one of those resources. Fossil fuels is one of those resources. You can only use it once, and once you use it, it's gone. Okay? So people fight over it. Data is not like that. The more you use a piece of data, the more valuable it is. Data is the ultimate renewable resource, and it can help us free workers, your employees, from nonsense data processing work. If you improve your data quality, you liberate hundreds of data specialists, data scientists, engineers, operators, managers from dealing with low quality data. You improve the service that you can offer to your customer. And when we free human intelligence and creativity, we can do anything, big or small. We can take care of a sick relative. We can save the rainforest. We can end global pandemics. All of these things are in our hands, and our choices for how we use human intelligence really matters. So, thank you so much for your time today. If you can't tell, I'm an optimist, and I really believe in the power of data to change the world. So if you like what you heard, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me or with my company. I hope together we can build a better future. Thank you.